to tonight's show. Good evening and welcome to tonight's show. That's what I was trying to say, but smoother. I am so excited. I feel like this feels like the premiere of a movie for me personally, but it's not. We're just reading an audio version of the script. And I just want to say a couple of quick things before we bring out the cast of characters and get started. Who I totally forgot to tell the stuff that I needed to tell. Oh my God. Guys, remember the thing about the farts? Remember the thing about the songs? Remember the thing about the beats? So everybody knows. Everybody knows. Okay. That was to my cast waiting in the green room. I totally forgot. I just went live. That's the problem with just go live in any case. This script, this is a really cool thing. I want to say something about dreams. And the thing I want to say about dreams is that I think one of the most important things in the world is to have dreams. This is kind of like the thing at the beginning of the movie before the movie actually starts, like the little quote or whatever. That's like what this is. Dreams are really important, and they keep us going. And, you know, when we have nothing going on in our lives, showing up for a dream every single day gives you purpose. And that's what I found when writing the script. I started writing it when I was unemployed and not feeling very good about myself. And I had the idea for the story. I knew I was going to do something with it. And I finally just sat down and I started writing it. And I fell in love with the little world that I was imagining in my head. And I kept going back to my favorite coffee shop, Pamplemousse Project in downtown White Plains. And every day I had this marble notebook, and every day I would fill pages full of ideas and notes. I was writing out the dialogue by longhand and just going. And it was like such a, it was so soothing to me, and it really counted for nothing in the world. You know what I mean? Like, it's not doing anybody any good. It's just something that I need to do for myself, a way of holding myself accountable. And again, to bring it back around, dreams. I have a dream that one day this script that you're going to hear as an audio play will be a feature-length film. And with enough elbow grease and going from A to B, B to C, C to D, eventually we're going to get to Z, and this will be a feature-length film. Just in the same way that when I opened that book for the very first time and started writing things down, it was the beginning of like creating this world. And now I feel like there's this like world in my head, and now it's manifested itself into this world because I've got these really awesome people waiting to bring it to life. I'm not going to be doing any reading, guys. I'm just sort of in the background a little bit. This broadcast is dedicated to my mother-in-law. And the reason why it's dedicated to my mother-in-law is because she is dying right now as we speak in Israel. And I dedicate this to her because she's facing something that we all have to face. And that's kind of like a little bit about what the story is about, you know? And I don't know. Tomorrow's Mother's Day, and I just want to dedicate this to her, this reading. She's one of the toughest, strongest people I ever met, really, truly. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say. All right, let's bring out our cast of characters and let's launch into this thing. We got Nate Dogg, we got Bob Rose, we got Tim Traumer, we got Kevin Moe, we got Nathan Ludwig, and we got Tim Deary. And together, we are going to tell you the story of My Shadow. So let us begin that now. Whenever you're ready, boys.
My Shadow, written by Jeff Frumess. Interior, Robert's hovel, night. Robert, a painter, enthusiastically paints an abstract-looking bunny rabbit as he muses, seemingly to himself. The place that Robert lives might be the suburbs of the city where David Lynch's Eraserhead takes place. It is a dark and shadowy world of night, even when it is daytime. His home and studio, where he paints, is a double-wide trailer. Paradoxically, it is a lot bigger on the inside than it looks on the outside. Robert is fueled by coffee and donuts as he paints by the dim light of a single bulb, suspended from the ceiling. Apart from rare occasion, he wears a dark suit, white shirt, and black tie every single day. They'd call him Mr. Gray if he was in the film Reservoir Dogs. Off to one side of the studio lives a bizarre-looking turntable. It churns and chokes out music with a tinny cough as if it had been repaired far too many times. It makes sense in this world where nothing ever seems to get thrown away for breaking, only refurbished and repurposed. Behind him is a poster for the classic B-movie Bad Nana.
She was as bad as they come, the baddest. Her stare was like sandpaper, hard on your face, and heavens forbid if you owed her money. Because if you did, and you didn't pay on time, she'd cut your Snuggie off and feed it to the guppies in her aquarium. True story. I heard it from my cousin's uncle's roommate. It's considered a biopic because the real Bad Nana's reign of crime and terror lasted for decades, until her iron grip got arthritis, and she hasn't been seen since. Okay, boy, just hold still for a little bit longer.
The canvas image of the abstract-looking bunny rabbit is inspired by Robert's best friend, Shadow, a rabbit posing and perched on a wooden tall stool.
Just a few more brush strokes and you can take a pee break. I got a barn to bust myself.
Robert painstakingly applies the last strokes. He is happy with these touches and stands back at the canvas to admire the developments.
Oh, yes. Oh, my, that's it. That's success. This is going to sell big time. Big bucks. At least 3 months of rent. 3 months rent. 3 months rent. 3 months rent.
Robert breaks out into a song and dance of success, forgetting that he has to pee.
3 months rent. 3 months rent. 3 months rent. 3 months rent.
Oh, right. Sorry, Shadow.
Robert picks up Shadow off the stool.
You go out there to release, and I will use the domestic commode.
Robert lets Shadow outside through his small carrot-shaped door. Interior, Robert's hovel bathroom, night. Robert whistles a song while he pees.
I'm eating candy.
I'm eating candy in the graveyard. Raising the dead's not so hard. I'm eating candy in the graveyard. Sha la 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 la. I sit here on the stool. Oh. Tombstone, all alone. I sit here like a loon. I sit here howling at the moon. Sha-la-la, crickets and bugs crawling at my feet. I'm eating candy that's so sweet.
Something from outside crashes loudly. It interrupts the song and the stream. The loud crash is followed by distant lamentations, too faint for Robert to discern the situation. Interior, Robert's hovel, night. The doorbell rings. An intercom system makes the announcement.
Doorbell, doorbell, doorbell.
Okay, calm your circuits. I'm coming.
Robert opens the door to Donardo, his best human friend. Donardo is shirtless, covered in blood. His bloodied shirt wraps up something limp, wet, and very, very dead. Donardo screams.
Ah!
This makes Robert scream. They both scream in each other's faces. Donardo runs out of breath and stops his scream. Robert eventually follows suit.
Hey, Hey, calm down, Robert. Just calm all the way down.
They both huff and puff.
What is going on? What is this?
Well, that's Shadow.
Robert unwraps the bloodied shirt to his horror.
Oh, gentle George, Shadow. My Shadow.
Hey, relax, man. He's just sleeping.
What? Are you serious right now?
No, yes. He's just fallen into a violent sleep under my car.
Your car?
My moving car.
Oh, no. This can't be real.
Robert collapses to the ground, dropping Shadow in the process. He writhes and spasms to and fro on the carpet in emotional agony over his dead friend.
No. Everything's fine, okay? It's just a nap. He's sleeping. You don't have to worry. My mama taught me this when Grandpa Flash stopped moving and breathing one day. Sleep will make you sleep. Worry will make you weep. Don't get sad. Don't get mad. Just smile and don't make a peep.
Oh, right. Yeah, he's sleeping.
See? That's it. All better. Put him in his bed, wash up, and get back to your painting. Looks like a good one from over here. Probably will fetch you a pretty penny.
I hope so.
Speaking of pennies, Shadow got my shirt all dirty, and I have a hot date tonight, so...
Robert tilts his head in a lack of understanding. Donardo clears his throat and rubs his fingers together to symbolize money.
Oh, right. Sure. Hold on a second.
Robert goes over to his end table, where his piggy bank lives, and smashes it with a hammer, and hands him funny money.
Thank you, my good chum. I gotta go get ready for this hot date. Good luck with all that.
He motions to Shadow's t-shirt-wrapped corpse. Donardo leaves, and Robert turns to his dead friend. Robert gently takes Shadow to wake him from his slumber.
Shadow? Wake up. Please, Shadow?
The errand is fruitless, obviously, and Robert gently puts Shadow in a shoebox before retreating to a corner of the room and slinking down, stoic and somber in thought. Smash cut to, it's morning now. Robert, tired and cramped, gets up from his statued resolve to stretch. He walks over to Shadow's makeshift coffin and lifts off the top, only to be stung by the offensive odor inside.
Ah! When you wake up, first thing you are doing is taking a bath.
He sprays the corpse with some aerosol deodorant. Fade to, Robert sits down in the kitchen to a sullen spaghetti lunch and turns on the tabletop radio jukebox. Music plays and Robert cries a bit. The song ends.
And that was Disturbed Caramel with their new single, Cat in a Blender.
Meow.
Meow! You are listening to Wart Radio, home of the slug himself, DJ Sweetle. That's me. Woo! We will be right back after this commercial break. But before we go, we just want to remind you that the Jovial Halloween Ball is happening this Saturday at Uncle Blue's Pumpkin Butter Burger Barn off Graveyard Hill Road. What better way to spend your autumnal equinox? Make sure you are dressed to impress for dancing, dining, and the Pumpkin Jello eating contest. There will also be live music, door prizes, and so much more. One lucky couple will be voted Teenagers of the Year and crowned King and Queen of the Halloween Ball. Is that you? Then come on down. Doors open at 7 p.m. sharp. I'll be there along with Uncle Moo franchise owner Sylvester Dijon Corning, eating pie, cutting a rug, and presiding over the festivities. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Robert spins his spaghetti around and around his fork, but neglects to follow through with a bite. The first of the commercials from the break DJ Sweetle mentioned on his show, begins.
Hey kids, it's me again, Dr. Dollar. There is only a few days left to take advantage of the special offer at my brand new planarium center at Skunky Strip Mall Plaza in downtown White Plains. We have finally unveiled our patented cloning technology for the public sphere for so many of your domestic needs. Lost a toddler, grandma, or pet? Don't fret. Hide those heavy feelings by cloning yourself a replacement. You'll barely be able to tell the difference. Just don't leave them in the sun for too long, or they'll melt. That's a joke. Our clones don't melt anymore under any sun exposure, thanks to our new proprietary additive, Trixophene 245. Trixophene has also been known to replicate 98% of stored cellular memory. Gone are the days of filling in the mental blanks in your loved one's memories. Now you can have a stable of clone experience, unlike cheap limitations such as meat glue clones that will wind up as a syrupy pile in your state licensed, it's the law, clone storage closet. So come down today and invest in your future happiness.
Robert is elated. He pushes the spaghetti aside and places Shadow's coffin box in its place and peeks inside for a rancid sniff.
That's what you need, old Scratch. A new body. That'll snap you out of this violently restful purgatory. We better get a move on.
He goes to his address book and dials the number of his art dealer, Phantomas. Interior, Phantomas' studio, day. The room is smothered with fancy pillows and couches, oozing a decadence that anyone who knows Phantomas would come to expect. He sits on the couch eating chocolates and speaks to someone off screen who we can't see. He wipes imagined chocolate smears from his sharply manicured goatee.
Suck harder, dear.
The phone rings. Phantomas picks it up. Intercut phone conversation.
Speak.
Phantomas?
What is the status, my golden goose?
The painting is done. Another shadow portrait.
Good, it's about time. I was beginning to think you forgot how to draw.
Paint.
Right. It all goes on the wall, honey. I am behind on my couch payments. Don't you spill a drop.
How soon can you line up a buyer?
Randy Candy is still on safari hunting buffalo bees on the island of Enchanter. I'll send him a cable. He's one of my best clients and he loves your work. I'm sure he will sign a letter of intent to purchase sight unseen, but it could be a week.
A whole week?
Frankly, I'm a little surprised to see you're such an eager beaver. Your frugal temperament is almost envious, with special emphasis on almost. Phantomas can't live without a Fabricius sweater or this gourmet couch that I suspect I will never pay off.
Yeah, it should be fine.
I will come around again to see your new work, but we'll possibly call ahead first. No, not your head, honey. Don't you stop.
Phantomas hangs up the phone. Interior, Robert's hovel, day. Robert goes to the remains of his piggy bank and counts what little money he has left. He talks to Shadow's coffin box.
Hopefully this should be enough. Sleep will make you weep, sleep. Worry will make you weep. Don't get sad. Don't get mad. Just smile and don't make a peep.
Exterior, Robert's hovel, day. Mark the Malkman, a government employee who is responsible for leaving both the milk and the mail, makes his delivery.
Hi, Malkman Mark. Anything good today?
Slow mail day, Robert. You forgot to leave out your milk bottle. No fresh cream for you today.
Yesterday was a very rough day and a very good day for forgetting things.
We all have those days. Here, have some leftover honey Stilton from this IGA Uncle Moo dairy sampler. Don't leave it out too long. It'll go bad at the end of the week.
Thanks.
Robert puts the cheese in his pocket and checks the mail as Mark walks off. Amongst the mail is a reminder about the Jovial Halloween Ball at Uncle Moo's.
Hi, Robert.
It's the voice of an angel. Robert spins around to Sydney Kidney, the girl who lives down the street. She is the cheeriest, chipper goth girl you'd ever meet. Eyeliner, black lipstick, jet black hair, and bangs that kiss the top of her eyelids, with a pale white face that seems to glow. Wednesday Addams with a Prozac prescription.
Sydney, hi.
Beautiful day, isn't it?
Just got a lot nicer.
Are you excited for the Jovial Halloween Ball?
Robert deflates. He holds up the reminder he got in the mail.
Sort of, I suppose.
Are you bringing Shadow, too?
Sadly not. I'll probably be rolling in solo if I even go.
You guys had a great costume theme last year.
Oh, yes. Shadow wouldn't stop trying to eat the carrots on the cape. I stayed up all night painting them in glow-in-the-dark orange. They were very toxic. His turds glowed amongst the pink flamingos on the front lawn for a week.
They both laugh.
Ha ha ha. Is that him in the box?
Yeah, he's sleeping. Dentist appointment. Shadow hates the drilling, so I spike his carrot juice with a sleep laxative.
So if Shadow is sitting this one out, maybe we can go together.
To the dentist?
No, to the Jovial Halloween Ball, silly goat.
Right, the ball. Well, yes, I'd love to. I've been so busy with the new portrait of Shadow that I haven't put any thought into what I could wear.
Let me handle that. I'll make us matching costumes and we'll go together like peanut butter and jelly.
It's a date.
If it's a date, don't forget to bring flowers or a pumpkin. See you soon.
Sydney blows Robert a kiss and leaves. The kiss takes on a life of its own and floats on the air. Robert follows it with his eyes until it passes him by. Exterior, street, day. Robert runs after the kiss, trying to catch it. He bumps into Angus, drinking a bottle of alligator wine. The bottle falls and breaks open on the sidewalk, staining the pavement crimson red.
You smelly bastich. Look what you gone and done.
I'm sorry. I was just...
That was my only bottle of alligator wine, you bastich. Do you know how long it takes to make a batch of that sniz?
A long time?
Upwards of 6 weeks. Unless you give me some money to go down to Uncle Moo's and get another bottle.
Can I make it up to you some other way? I'm a little short on funds right now.
Prove it. What's in the box?
None of your business?
Give me the box or give me your wallet.
Not gonna happen.
Oh, it's gonna happen right now, bastich.
Angus demonstrates his keen ability in the art of dance karate. Robert is familiar to some degree, but doesn't stand a chance. Angus wins with a stinger chop and goes for the box. He opens it up and is hit in the face with a putrid smell.
You ghoul!
He drops the box and pulls Robert's wallet from his back pocket.
Lying bastich. I knew it.
You can't, please. You don't understand. I need that money.
Don't we all? Lady Justice has been served. Now I can restore the status quo. Let this be a lesson to the likes of you, you ghoulin' bastich.
Angus does Michael Jackson-esque kick and spin before turning back to spit on Robert and walk off. Robert gets to his feet and collects the box with Shadow. Cut to exterior, street, day. Robert limps to the phone booth and puts down Shadow's box. He takes off his shoe and then his sock, raising it to his ear and shaking it. The contents inside jingle. He pours out a few quarters and uses them for a call to the one man who can possibly help him in his desperate financial need. Interior, Fantomas' studio, day. Fantomas sits on his lavish couch, dressed in impeccable style that matches the posh surroundings, and he can't stop laughing. Omelette, Fantomas's assistant, laboriously tickles Fantomas's feet with some fancy-looking feathers. Elsewhere in the facility, an automatic notification goes off. Omelette pauses the pleasurable torture and checks.
Do you want to take it?
Is it Randy Candy?
Doesn't say.
Fantomas snaps his fingers, and Omelette brings the receiver to him. Fantomas licks his lips. Intercut phone conversation.
Randy, my love, you are a hard nut to get a hold of.
It's Robert. You haven't heard from Randy yet?
Not a blip. Maybe he is strung out on a sticky honey binge from those buffalo bees.
Is there any way you can wire me in advance?
Robert, you have never asked for an advance before. Is there something going on, baby?
It's a time-sensitive medical situation.
But is everything okay? Are you having medical issues? Is it Shadow, my other golden goose?
Shadow? No, he's fine. Just fine. I have a foot rot. Yeah, and I can't afford to lose any toes. I promised Sydney Kidney I'd take her to the Jovial Halloween Ball at Uncle Moo's, and I'm afraid it could affect my two-step shuffle. Can you help me out? I need to know.
Darling, I wish I could. It's just, well, I already made another payment on my gourmet couch, and I'm spread pretty thin. But I do have a solution.
I'm willing to try just about anything at this point.
Shiv Starfish.
Shiv Starfish?
She used to be one of Nana's sharks.
Nana? Like bad Nana?
That's the one. I know you knew her.
Well, I've seen that TV movie they made like 100 times.
Oh, please. That made-for-TV garbage is nothing like the real deal. Since Nana disappeared, Shiv has transformed her street-level operation into a somewhat legitimate enterprise. Several art collectors I know have used her when they were short and needed to close a deal. Perhaps she can float you until Randy Candy makes an offer on that painting.
Fade to interior Shiv Starfish's office. Day. Shiv Starfish sits at her desk in her smoky office. If it weren't for the two large bodyguards or peacock feathers flanking both sides, you might think her a gumshoe or private eye from the 30s. She tilts her head up so the brim of her fedora reveals her judgmental glare. Shiv works over a couple of walnuts, salvaging and savoring the nut meats inside. An eyebrow raises in response to Robert's reasons for needing money.
That's quite an interesting situation. I'm so sorry about your friend, Souffle.
Shadow. His name is Shadow.
Tomato potato. I can appreciate your position and desperation, but I'm not like a guy like you.
Shiv, please. I don't have another option, and time is of the essence, I'm afraid. The longer Shadow lingers, the less
likely you can help him. What happens if you can't pay it back?
No, I can. I have the money. Sort of. Fantomas just needs to make the sale. Randy Candy.
Oh, I know Randy Candy. I've staked him too. Sometimes when he's buying art that he can't afford. You think he eats one jelly bean at a time? No way. He'll sign 3 different letters of intent to buy and then come to me to ensure he has enough liquid cash to make the deals. What's to say you won't be paying me back with my own money? I don't feel like sorting out that sort of complication. So I say good day to you and good luck with your scallop.
Robert is sullen.
Thank you for your time, Miss Starfish.
He turns to leave. Shiv rolls her eyes.
Wait a minute.
Robert turns back.
Damn this heart of gold of mine.
Shiv slams a hand on her desk. The shells of walnuts rattle and shuffle at her might and force.
There is one thing we could try. Sit back down.
I'm all ears.
There was this boy. His name was Honey Pie. I loved him so much. I loved him more than pancakes love maple syrup, more than toast loves butter, more than fries love ketchup, more than Tom loved Jerry. We were sweethearts for a while, and for that while it was great, really great. He wanted to propose, down on one knee in front of everyone at Larry's luncheon buffet and breakfast, during the Saturday lunch brunch, no less. I still quiver like my favorite savory aspic at Larry's over how romantic that could have been.
Shiv stops for a moment. She claps her hands, and Bobo, her bodyguard, brings her a fan for her eyes, which are starting to accumulate water. She tries to offset it with a deep inhale and exhale.
And then Honey Pie got a job. It was a second job, actually. He already worked at the Loaf and Jug Penguin Pump. He had to in order to save up for the engagement pearl. I love pearls. If I knew now what I didn't then, I never would have let him work at the Woodbine Mahogany Local 13 Banking and Credit Union.
Over at Walnut and Pine?
That very one. That's not your bank, is it?
No, I use Silver Dollar First National on Pico and Sepulveda.
That's important for what comes next. But first, let me finish my sad little tale of woe. So Honey Pie started working at the bank, and that's when he met Valoria Woodbine, daughter of Monty Woodbine himself, a sultry little demon who loved flashing stuff all over town. Honey Pie never stood a chance against her siren songs. One day, I brought him a cherry cheddar turnover from Uncle Moo's, his favorite dessert, for lunch, only to find him in the back, knee-deep in her cherry cheddar.
Baba, her other bodyguard, hands her a hanky. She smears her caked makeup as she wipes away the tears.
He's been with her ever since. They married not too long after, and Monty Woodbine gave them the branch to run themselves. Sometimes when I drive by, I swear I can see that harpy in the night making eyes at me from the tele window. She knows what she did, stealing my Honey Pie from me. Like I said, I'm not going to stake you. That's just bad business. But I will give you a golden opportunity to make more money in half an hour than you would have with 1,000 of your little paintings. You could clone yourself an army of Sundays if you wanted.
Tomato, potato. What's the opportunity?
Shiv snaps a finger.
Bobo!
Bobo gives a gun-like device to Robert.
Put that in your little box and take it to the Woodbine Mahogany Local 13 Banking and Credit Union. Today is Tuesday, and on Tuesdays, Honey Pie eats tacos and covers one of the shifts for Sanders Simmons, a teller who recently quit.
And what exactly am I supposed to do with this thing?
Shiv snaps a finger.
Baba!
Baba hands a letter to Robert.
Give him that to read first. He'll know what to do. If you are successful, then you may keep the vault money and he will surrender to you. But if you fail, you will forfeit the money to me, and your precious friend will continue to languish in that box until it is too late.
Cut to interior Woodbine Mahogany Local 13 Bank and Credit Union. Day. The inside of the bank is your typical small town fare. Robert wears a handkerchief over his mouth like it is the Old West and calmly waits in the line to Honey Pie's teller window. There is one customer ahead before it is Robert's turn. He looks over to the side wall of the bank. There is a security guard, old as water, on a stool, but he is fast asleep. Robert looks back to the front and sees Honey Pie dealing with his current customer.
A pleasure, Honey Pie. Say hello to Miss Valoria for me.
I always do, Mrs. Lumlum. Give my best to Mr. Lumlum.
Mrs. Lumlum scampers off. Honey Pie jots something down in one of his books without even looking up.
Welcome to the Woodbine. What can I do for you today?
Honey Pie looks up through the window at Robert with his lazy disguise. Honey Pie, with his thick-rimmed glasses, might be mistaken for Clark Kent if he was more broad and muscular. Instead, he is dumpy and frumpy.
Practicing for tonight's Jovial Halloween Ball, I see. You look like one of the saloon dogs from those old Clamp Westward serial reels I used to watch as a kid.
Robert nods and calmly slides the letter from Shiv through the teller window.
What is this?
Read.
But what is this?
Read.
Okay, and what is this?
Read.
Okay, I'll read.
Honey Pie is confused, but opens up the note. Shiv's voice emanates from the writing inside.
As you read the contents of this message, please remain calm and follow all of the directions as they are listed. This is a robbery. Do not try to stop this robbery. Last night, the foundation of the bank was wired with plastique explosive putty. If any call or alarm to follow the police is detected, you will trigger the detonator and tragically turn the foundation underneath where you sit into a grander canyon than what you would find in the deserts of Arizona. Step 1. Look up at the man in front of you with full eye contact. Say the code word, Badger, which will signify that you understand the situation and the foreboding consequences, as well as your willingness to make this a smooth, easy transaction before you proceed.
Badger?
Robert hands a duffel to Honey Pie through the teller window.
Step 2. Fill the duffel with $8,276. Do this discreetly in the vault. Die packs and geographical positioning systems will also trigger detonation of the plastique. Be mindful to leave them aside. When you are finished, return the duffel to the man before you and say the code word Badger.
Badger.
The man will hand you a device that may seem strange and nefarious, of which it is neither. Complete step 4, and the man will leave with the money that is well insured by the bank and requires no attempt to retrieve. Please confirm your acknowledgement by saying the code word Badger.
Badger.
Step 4, pick up the device and place it in your lap. When you have done so, hand the wired remote to the man before you, and while making eye contact, say the code word Badger.
Honey Pie hands the wired remote to Robert.
Badger.
Badger.
Robert presses a small red button on the wired remote. A high-pitched dog whistle rings out. Robert drops the remote, picks up the money, and leaves the bank. Honey Pie's perceived iron resolve dissolves the moment Robert is gone. He vomits into a waste paper basket and continues reading what is left of the note, growing more and more devastated as he reads.
My sweet Honey Pie, even after all that happened between us, I want you to know that I still love you and that I must confess there was never any plastique. No actual volatile threat, just the empty promises found in this note. You know a thing or two about empty promises. How embarrassing to lose even $8,276 of the vast and nearly uncountable sum of money in your financial institution. You could alert the authorities and try to shamefully explain to your Valoria that you were robbed of $8,276 at no point, but I am confident that you will effortlessly make a tiny few alterations to the day's ledger. You're the only one looking for such minuscule discrepancies. Multiple times I ask myself whilst writing this note if it would be simpler to arm my agent with a gun for this robbery and put a bullet in your head after the transaction was completed. But truthfully, despite your betrayal, I couldn't stomach the thought of having you kill over $8,276. It has not been the easiest course, but it is the right one. I must confess that just thinking of you and her together has kept me awake endless nights. So I devised a solution for every future night's beauty rest. The device that you placed on your lap emitted a low dose of radiation with enough power to permanently sterilize your testicles. Any child that is molded from your ego to live on will have to come from elsewhere. Never shall you pass down those rugged and chiseled good looks to any other forevermore. I will sleep better at night knowing that your future with that chalk-headed, chicken-footed toadstool Valoria Woodbine has been eradicated. $8,276 is a small price to pay in order to avoid being divorced from your wife, your job, and your place in Montgomery Woodbine's estate will. I can already feel my eyes getting heavy as I conclude this note. I think I will take a nap. Good night, Honey Pie. Sleep well. I know I shall. Consuming thoughts of this tasty, meaty revenge stew, however cold they may be, is also deliciously sweet, like my honey pie.
Fade 2. Exterior street. Night. Robert, draped in shadows, pulls another quarter from his sock and makes a call on the payphone. Intercut phone conversation.
It is done.
Did he look devastated?
Beyond all recognition.
Then your obligation is complete. The money is yours for your needs.
There is a pause as Robert contemplates the life he destroyed in order to continue his mission.
I have more work for a willing hatchet man, if you should be so curious.
I'm not. My purpose is to create when I paint, not to tear down and destroy. This was simply a means to my own noble end.
Then I hope you are successful in your endeavors. Goodbye, Robert.
Goodbye, Shiv.
Smash cut 2. Exterior Dollar Laboratory. White Plains Strip Mall. Night. There is an ominous feeling of an impending thunderstorm. A lightning bolt slashes across the dark sky. Down below, the large storefront windows of the Dollar Laboratory glow with activity. Interior, Dr. Dollar's laboratory office waiting room. Night. The waiting room is soaked with the stale totalitarianism and banal bureaucracy of a DMV from the 1970s. Robert sits with his shoebox coffin containing Shadow, waiting anxiously, filling out paperwork. The receptionist directs his attention to her desk.
When you're done with the intake form, ring the bell.
Dr. Dollar's robot butler, Gendril Bamboza, approaches.
Would you like a root beer lozenge, sir?
Thank you.
A candy pops out of Gendril's mouth. Robert takes the candy and unwraps it. He scribbles a sketch of Shadow in the margins of his filled-out form. Creepy xylophone music starts to play over the intercom. The receptionist looks up from her station.
Okay, Dr. Dollar will see you now.
Interior, Dr. Dollar's laboratory. Night. The lab is full of discarded mechanical nonsense. Neglected robots, half-assembled. Tables choked with glass beakers and Chemistry City dioramas. The lack of proper lighting outside of dim, flickering neon bulbs lend to darkness that conceals how big or small the facility might actually be. Dr. Dollar looks over the intake information, shaking his head all the while.
Tragic tale as old as time. I'm sorry for your loss.
Loss? No, he's just sleeping. Violently ripe.
Either way, he needs a new body. So let's give him one. Do you have my $8,276 fee?
Robert hands him the money. Dr. Dollar thumbs the bills and then licks his thumb, savoring the flavor, sighing in satisfaction.
Creamy butter. Okay, let's just take a little look at your fellow and see what is what.
Robert presents Shadow's coffin box on the slab. Dr. Dollar adjusts an overhead light and opens the shoebox, only to be hit with a strong odor. Robert and the doc both retch.
Oh, rickety cricket, Shadow. You really, really need a bath once we change bodies.
Dr. Dollar sprays some cheese-flavored Bippy Butterscotch Air deodorizer.
Oh, well, that's a little better. How long has Shadow been sleeping?
Not even 12 hours.
Dr. Dollar uses a tiny claw-like extracting device to root around in the box. He pulls out some slimy, gooey grossness.
Bungle fungus. Oh my, this is bad beans, Robert. Very bad beans. Didn't you check this shoebox for foot rot before putting Shadow inside?
Robert bites his nails.
Can't we just give him some antifungal salve?
Dr. Dollar puts some of the slime goo that was Shadow under a microscope.
His cells, they're corrupted. Nothing can be done for him. There's no way to clone your friend a new body. Whatever would amount from my proprietary process would not resemble your dear friend. You're no longer cloning Shadow, but also the foot rot growing on his body. He will be fused to it. I've been down this road before. The best thing that you can do is to give him a good send-off. A Viking funeral, perhaps.
Robert turns away from Dr. Dollar and slinks off to himself for a moment. He closes his eyes.
Sleep will make you sleep. Worry will make you weep. Don't get sad. Don't get mad. Just smile and don't make a peep.
He lets a murmuring giggle slip loose from his lips and turns back to Dr. Dollar.
Why would I do that?
Robert, your friend isn't sleeping violently. He's died.
Oh. I see.
Sadly, it's a part of life. Look, this lucrative business, this operation is just stalling the inevitable. And for this situation, for Shadow, that inevitable is right now.
It can't be the way it ends.
All of it ends. At least it ends how we see things. Beyond that, who knows? For all the information I possess, for all of my brilliance that I do not comprehend. Man is meant to understand what he can discover, and if we haven't or can't discover it, then perhaps it is not for man to know until it is time to know.
He's got to be able to come back from this.
Long or short, a life sentence ends with a period.
That's the way it's supposed to be, but...
No matter how I prevent the natural order of things, it still ends with that period. Believe me, Robert, if I thought I could extract my fee and bring your friend back, I would do it. But he's not in that box. He's gone already. Wherever they go, I don't know.
Robert lashes out in rage and punches down hard on the shoebox containing Shadow over and over, further mashing the contents inside until Dr. Dollar calms him enough to stop.
None of my colleagues at the Triumphant Science Official League believe this, and I can't discuss it with them for fear of ridicule in my belief of the intangible. But I wrote a paper on this subject as means of introducing the topic into our ongoing symposium of knowledge and understanding. It was rejected, and I was laughed out the door. But maybe it will offer you some solace in your days and years to come.
Dr. Dollar hands Robert a tape.
This is a recording of me reading that paper I wrote to the Triumphant Science Official League. When you can fully realize your reality, listen to it.
Then I will probably never listen to it, Doc.
That is your decision. Goodbye, Robert.
Dr. Dollar gets up and goes back to his lab station. He is torturing some poor little insect creature as he probes it.
Please don't! That's my thorax! I need that to live.
Robert turns to leave, but sees a stack of Dr. Dollar's home cloning kits. He looks back at Dr. Dollar to make sure he isn't watching. Dr. Dollar sings a tune to himself as he works.
The pizza game is a lonely game, but only if you want it to be. It really doesn't have to be. So join me in this pizza game of love. We will soar on the skies high above.
Robert takes a kit and leaves the $8,276 fee in its place. Interior, Robert's hovel, night. Robert opens up the kit and takes out the various contents. In an official and sealed envelope is the instructions for Dr. Dollar's Reanimator home recloning kit. The envelope is opened, and stylistically, a small Dr. Dollar pops on screen to narrate his instructions to us, the audience, as Robert reads them.
Warning disclaimer. Thank you for purchasing our home kit with our proprietary recloning methods. Before we begin, we must disclaim any responsibility or liability for using this kit to clone or reanimate humans and animals alike, and that any attempt to do so is at your own persuasion, and that you have gone so far as to acquire one of our kits for this intended purpose, which we do not personally endorse due to the difficult and volatile nature of forces that science does not yet understand, including the balance of life and death as classified by the complete cessation of all processes involved in keeping biological systems of any organism alive. The results of our cloning process, when all instructions are followed to the letter, are not categorically clones, as they retain memory from the source donor, nor are they reanimated as new living cellular growth mutates into an unclassifiable organism capable of all processes involved in keeping biological systems of any organism alive. Despite all of this, Dr. Dollar's superficial health organization acknowledges that it may legally and commercially exploit these home kits and their proprietary methodology, utilizing the loophole in Penal Code 245D-1-C-K. Above all else, please make sure to follow our step-by-step guide to the letter to ensure success in cloning your Reanimapet. Step 1. Place your deceased animal inside the Dr. Dollar antiseptic classical surgical enclosure, labeled Item A in your kit.
An analog clock shows the passage of time. Robert reads the instructions as Dr. Dollar guides him in the process. He sweats as he does this and dabs his brow with a sponge to soak up moisture.
Step 8. Acquire living biomatter of an identical organism. Warning. It is very important that any cells sourced are from the same species biomatter. This step is crucial for both success as well as safety.
Robert gets a call. Intercut phone conversation.
What's the story?
I really tried, Robert. I really want to help. I do. But none of these stores have any live rabbits. My hands are tied. Tied!
You owe me, man. See it through. What about Mr. Pepe's Pet Party Palace on Pauper Place?
Cut to exterior, Mr. Pepe's Pet Party Palace. Night. A street sign shows the name Pauper Place. A storefront with a sign showing that it's Mr. Pepe's Pet Party Palace. Interior, Mr. Pepe's Pet Party Palace. Night. Mr. Pepe, with his push broom mustache, head visor cap, and red and white striped collared shirt, peers down at Donardo from his countertop perch in disdain and disgust.
Sorry, Donardo. We have a strict zero-tolerance leprous rabbit policy. You might have a better luck at the old haunted necropolis. Dead is preferable to nothing, I suppose.
He won't know the difference.
Cut to exterior, the necropolis. Night. Donardo wanders around by lantern light with a shovel in tow. He shines the light on various tombstones. Donardo squints his eyes as he struggles to read the inscriptions to himself.
Mr. Swiggles, Iguana, Master Bobbins, Chimpanzee. Uncle Fuzzy? A gerbil. Damn it all! Where are all the bunny rabbits?
Donardo shines his light on another marker.
Captain Fluffy Duncan, beloved brother rabbit, Eureka!
Cut to interior Robert's hovel. Night. Donardo hands over some dark, wet brown meat-like matter to Robert, bare-handed.
This is from a living rabbit?
Donardo produces and peels a banana, eating it with his meat-covered hands as he talks. He drops the peel on the floor.
From Mr. Pepe's Pet Palace.
Over on Pauper Place?
Exactly. Mr. Pepe acquired the sample from his own pet bunny Dumpling. We're square now?
Square as a chair.
Cut to the analog clock continues to show the passage of time. Donardo waits on a chair in the kitchen. He gets drunk on alligator wine as he eats from a big plate of spaghetti. The wine proves too much and he faceplants into the pasta. Dr. Dollar continues his narration. Robert hunches over the small, box-sized antiseptic tent environment containing Shadow's body.
Step 13. We have reached the most crucial step of this proprietary process. Introduce the specialized electrolytes to your culture, and before your eyes you should see multicellular division and replication as new extremities grow and replace any damaged cells.
Robert looks through a microscope and waits for something to happen. But nothing happens.
How do I know if it's working?
You will know immediately if the process has worked, as you will see growth right before your eyes. If you don't, then you did something wrong and have two choices. Introduce more living cells, or incinerate all biomatter before it has the chance to mutate into something unrecognizable. In which case, call the police.
No, this can't be for naught.
Whatever you do, please remember that time is of the essence at this very crucial step of the home cloning process.
Robert picks up his foot and removes the shoe and sock once more. Quarters pour out of the sock. Robert discards it.
Heavenly Father and Mother, please guide this pinky toe where it needs to go.
He grabs a pair of sharp shears and hesitates for a brief moment before cutting off his pinky toe.
Warning, if you've reached this point of desperation, the Dr. Dollar Superficial Health Organization advises against any attempts to salvage the process. Call the police or go to the pet store and purchase a new pet.
Shadow isn't a pet. He's family.
Robert tosses his pinky toe into the antiseptic tent containing Shadow. Off to the side is a breaker switch hooked up to a battery, wires leading to the tent. Robert flips it.
Here's 50,000 watts of goodwill.
With a jolt of juice, the whole thing starts to shake as cells begin to divide, and the process commences. Sparks and smoke fly.
Oh no.
Unsure as to what is exactly happening or what should be done, Robert grabs the small tent and throws it on the couch, burying it in a blanket. As he backs away, and he slips on the banana peel that Donardo dropped earlier and hits his head pretty hard. Robert convulses and bleeds from the head, while the couch bubbles with activity. Whatever is under the blanket grows bigger and bigger. Fade to. It is morning. Donardo wakes up from last night's spaghetti face pillow. With a face covered in sauce, he walks into the living room to see Robert sprawled out on the floor.
Sweet condensed milk, Robert. That looks like a gnarly spill. Where do you keep your first aid kit?
Robert stirs, letting out a moan and a groan. Donardo comes over with the kit and lifts up Robert's head to wrap it with bandages.
There you go. That should soak up some of the tomato sauce.
Shadow?
Something lumpy and slimy wet starts to gurgle from under the blanket on the couch. It catches Donardo's attention.
Robert, man, wake up. I think your couch is haunted. I better investigate this.
The lump struggles to breathe, It sounds like a paper accordion wheezing air through the tiniest slit. DiNardo leaves his bandaged friend to trek across the room to the couch side of things and see what is going on.
Hark! Who stirs there? Shadow? Could it be?
As DiNardo sees the lump under the blanket, so does the lump see DiNardo as it peers at him through a hole in the knitted fabric with its slippery and naked eyeball with spider-webbed red veins, all shellacked in mucus. DiNardo pulls the blanket back and stares in raw horror at the mess before him. He wishes he could speak, but there are no words to describe his shock or the sight before him. A hungry, foam-crusted mouth full of nasty, jagged teeth opens for DiNardo, but not to speak. Shadows play against a plain white wall, showing DiNardo being sucked into and consumed by the lump that was under the blanket. A single shoe belonging to DiNardo is spit back. It hits Robert in the stomach, waking him up. The blanket is restored, and the lump begins to grow and expand into a more complicated creature. Robert sits up. The bandage on his head has soaked up some of his blood. He examines the shoe and smells it for foot rot.
DiNardo?
Hearing Robert call out, the lump mumbles and grumbles.
Shadow? Boy, is that you?
Hungry.
It worked! Shadow, it worked! You're back!
So hungry.
What? What was that?
I'm hungry.
Robert comes to the couch. From under the blanket reaches a grotesque, slimy, moldy human arm with sharp, pointy, furry-clawed hand. Robert jumps back, uneager to embrace.
Shadow, what's become of you?
Robobork is still meek. I'm new guy. I just hungry.
Hungry? I can order you some Bavarian carrots from Mr. Pepe's Pet Palace.
I need meek.
Shadow, I'm so happy you've learned how to speak English, but you have to take the cotton balls out of your mouth. It's hard to understand what you're saying.
I ate him.
The phone rings. Robert picks up for Sydney.
Hello? Hi, Sydney. Yes, just great. Hanging out with Shadow. He's great. Oh, yeah? Great. That's great. Great. Yeah, great. I'll come by. Great. I'll see you soon. Okay, great.
Robert hangs up the receiver.
So here's what to do. I'll wire over some carrots for Mr. Pepe's afternoon delivery service. He can leave you a satchel right on this table. I suspect DiNardo will be over sometime soon. Just tell him I stepped out should I not be here to receive him.
I still need meat.
I missed you too. Things are looking up. I'm feeling inspired with you here. Reunited! Tomorrow morning, over some hot coffee and toffee crackers, let's set up a canvas and do what we do best. Rent will be due soon. In the meantime, while you are still under that blanket, catch a nap.
This weekend, Bagley?
That's my guy, getting back to himself. See you soon.
Exterior street, day. Robert is on top of the world as he dance walks to Sydney House with some funky fresh steps. Angus and two of his goons, Grunk and Grink, watch Robert from afar, all sitting on a stoop, eating cotton candy.
There goes a fella thirsty for my fists. Just you wait, Robert, you bastard. We're gonna pancake you.
Grunk and Grink snicker. Angus snaps his fingers for Grunk and Grink to follow.
Raspberry formation.
Grunk and Grink flank Angus.
I said raspberry formation.
Grunk and Grink switch places. With fleeting approval, Angus signals the gang by blowing air outward with his mouth. They walk off. Grunk and Grink blow raspberries with their mouths, in sync with their footsteps. Interior, Sydney house, day. Sydney Kidney's house is loaded with fabrics and various mannequins for dressmaking. The only light comes from many lit candles in her domain. She takes Robert's measurements for his costume.
Okay. Arms out in a T formation. We need to be precise so that your costume fits us as well as mine does.
She wraps the measuring tape around his bicep. It tickles him.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry. Did you know that being ticklish is a sign of a sensitive soul?
Because you can reach someone's soul through a good tickling?
Hey, I don't know. I might have just made that up, but it makes a lot of sense.
Either way, we can just pretend that's true.
Piggy promise?
What's that?
Piggy, piggy, piggy pie. Whoever tells a sticky lie will sink down to a bad place and cry, cry, cry. Or rest your brow and keep your vow. Time will tell anyhow.
Sydney shows him by locking her pinky finger with his pinky finger.
And if you want to, you could seal it with a kiss, just like this.
Sydney kisses the part of her hand closest to her face, where her thumb and pointing finger curl into the piggy promise position.
And you.
Robert kisses his hand, and Sydney does it again as well, so that they are almost kissing, separated by their hands.
Thanks for going to all this trouble to make me a costume.
I live for any excuse to make something, create something. I love how I feel about myself when I get lost in the process. I don't know where I begin or where I end. I just feel like pure
consciousness.
I just get lost in the moment.
You'd have to pull yourself out or you'd never leave.
And it would never stop.
Could I paint you maybe sometime?
That's a great idea. Why, I'll make something to wear just for the occasion.
It's a date.
Another date? Oh my.
She yawns. Robert does too.
I am getting sleepy.
I'm super sleepy. It's all that buffalo honey we sipped on. Should we go lie down and take a nap?
After some warm tea first. Do you have any tea bags?
I don't.
I do.
Great. Teabag me?
Of course.
Then let us adjourn to the rear chamber. Come with me.
They hook their arms together and off they go. Interior, Robert's hovel. Afternoon. The doorbell rings with no one capable of answering it. A roundish hole in the grungy, tattered blanket that covers Shadow reveals his once closed and now open eyeball, the pupil attuned to the ringing bell. The front door opens and Mr. Pepe, with his delivery basket, announces his presence.
Hi-ho! Hi-ho! It's Mr. Pepe's delivery, you know.
He adjusts his glasses and unfolds the order instructions that came with the delivery.
Robert, I let myself in with the spare key. I have 1 satchel of Bavarian carrots for Shadow. 2 be placed on the living room table.
Mr. Pepe puts the parcel on the table, along with some sort of receipt of delivery. Shadow begins his pathetic whimpering from his blanketed spot on the couch. It startles the old man.
Oh, my. Is that you under there, Shadow?
Huggy.
Having stroke, Shadow. Did you just speak the governor's English?
Huggy.
Mr. Pepe pulls a carrot from the parcel.
Oh, well, here you go. We're really going to have to work on that pronunciation, Shadow. You sound positively famished, boy.
Skull carving, help me.
There you go. There you go. Here's your juicy one to tide you over until Robert gives you a proper lunch.
Yeg, lunch.
Mr. Pepe pulls off the ratty blanket, and it's more of the same as before. In a flash, slimy black lips, crooked nasty teeth, frothy mouth. The all-seeing eyeball strains in anticipation of hot crimson broth as the mouth carries cheeks full of black and blue minced meat down a bile-scored gullet. Cut to, with newly found strength from his sustenance, Shadow strains and grunts and pushes in a way that you would think he is having a bowel movement. A humanoid arm shoots out from under the old, tattered blanket. Shadow explores its functionality.
Ah, that's better. Hey, that voice, what do you know? A fella could hold a tune or two with a voice like this. Do I know any songs? Does it matter? Maybe I could write one. After I eat something, of course. It's hard to concentrate when I'm so hungry.
Exterior, street, late afternoon. Robert whistles all the way home from Sydney House.
Piggy promises, keeping those piggy wiggy promises. We're making those piggy promises together. We gotta do something to stay together.
Cut to interior Robert's hovel. Evening. Robert dances around, still humming his tune.
Stay together, let's stay together. Let's make a piggy promise. I'll keep you in the pocket, the one that's closest to my heart. And you could paint us just like a picture of what our life could be. Could be.
He flips the switch. The lights come on.
Shadow? So sorry, I was away a lot longer than I intended. Did you enjoy that nap?
If I'm being honest, I didn't do much sleeping, but quite a bit of thinking, Robert, old chum.
Robert is aghast.
Shadow, where'd you get that fantastic velvety voice?
I'm not sure exactly. I think Mr. Pepe might have helped a lot.
Robert notices the Pepe parcel ripped apart without a carrot in sight.
Lord above, Shadow, did you finish the whole satchel?
Much more than that, I'm afraid. What was the song you were singing? Can you teach it to me?
Your voice would be perfect for singing. Now that you're better, maybe we could get you some yodeling lessons with Hans Shanclaw after Randy Candy buys that painting. Did Donardo stop by?
I'm afraid to say that he was here for breakfast and not much else.
Did he leave any messages for me?
You could try and ask him yourself. Oh, what's left of him is right over there.
Shadow points with a slimy, gross humanoid hand. At the tip of his fingers are dark, blackened claws. At the end of the couch, next to Shadow's amorphous blanketed shape, is a pile of nasty dark green feces.
Is this some jest that I do not grasp?
Do I look like a jester to you?
I need further clarification.
I excreted all of Donardo's earthen remains right over there.
You did what?
You weren't listening to what I was trying to tell you. Through my whimpers and slurred vernacular, I was starving, and still, it wasn't enough. I ate Mr. Pepe, too.
How could you do this? My Shadow would never do something like that.
Robert yanks on the blanket covering Shadow.
No, please! I don't think I'm fully formed yet.
The blanket slips from the feeble grip brought on by Shadow's inadequate motor function to reveal his truly ghastly state. No longer does Shadow seem to be entirely lupus in nature. His troubled rebirth is represented in a gnarled and twisted face that didn't grow as either nature or science intended. For Robert, there is shock as he could almost be looking at a version of himself in a funhouse mirror of horrors. One of Shadow's eyeballs never grew back, and now all that remains is a dark, sunken socket with a saddened, furrowed eyebrow ridge. His other eyebrow ridge is angered, pointing down at an oversized, permanently strained eyeball with powerful, spiderwebbed veins. Tears occasionally flow from the duct. Two sagging, pathetic, matted, moldy bunny ears remain drooped. His can-opener shark grin only seems to work on the angry eye side of his face. Light catches his black, slimy lips, which are smooth enough to allow a viscous drool to fall into his body. The body, in turn, is covered in nasty, coarse, furry, blistery tufts of hair on human skin.
Shadow?
Robert?
Shadow?
Robert?
Robert retreats to the closet and produces an axe.
Snot on a bicycle, Robert. Don't you even think about it.
You killed them!
Maybe they deserved it.
No one deserves that.
Robert gestures with the axe at the Donardo feces sitting next to Shadow.
After all you went through just to take me apart? Harkin, oh, irony.
As if you left me with any other choice at this point.
You love me too much for such a grisly deed. Donato got us here in the first place. If he hadn't ran me over...
He said you fell into a violent sleep.
You're really that naive. I suppose it's your good heart.
Split diopter shot. Robert turns his back to his friend and stares off into the distance in his mind.
It's not that good. I'm not that proud of some of the things I did to bring you back.
Sacrifices. You made sacrifices. And that is exactly what Donato and Mr. Pepe were. Look at these arms and hands. My velvety voice. And just in love with his fingerlings.
Shadow moves his appendages with delight.
Claws. Those are claws. And your soft fur is gone.
Things change.
Shadow's stomach growls. Robert cowers.
Are you gonna eat me too?
Don't be crazy, Robert. It would be like eating myself. I never, ever, never. Don't worry.
Robert picks up the phone and dials a number.
I have everything to worry about.
I don't know who you were planning to call, but let's take a step back from the valley of horrors and gaze on the hill of pragmatical reality. 2 human beings have been killed and almost completely consumed in your hovel, where you have illegally conducted hybrid cloning in an unlicensed facility.
Illegal?
You need to have an inspector sign off on your cloning space before you can use the home kit. It says so right on the box over there. Clearly, you didn't read all the instructions before you started. If they found me in here, I'd be liquidated, and you'd be sent to the electric farm.
Robert gives up any resolve he had and hangs up the phone and goes to the kitchen area.
Do you want some coffee?
Never had it before, but it must be good if you're always drinking it.
I'll put extra cream and sugar in yours.
Cut to Robert pulls up a chair across from Shadow and hands him a mug of coffee.
Grip it with both hands until your motor skills improve.
Shadow tries coffee for the first time.
So that's coffee.
Shadow goes in for a second appraisal.
That's, actually, that's delicious.
A precious liquid.
I'm sorry I ate the Nardo and Pepe.
Yeah, well, me too. Can you promise me you won't do it again?
For some unknown reason, I was gifted with this beautiful voice. and I want to use it so that I can contribute something to this world. So, I just don't know if I can make that guarantee. Would you ever leave a painting unfinished?
That would be excruciating.
Well, I have come to realize that I am never going to get off this couch if I don't eat something else.
Stick to carrots.
I need protein, I think. I want some homegrown legs to dance on while I sing from the stage.
That's a load of chim-chim, Shadow, and you know it.
Well, I want to be a singer.
It's well, not so simple.
You don't think I could do it?
I didn't say that.
I've already written a song.
I can't get any girls at Aliyah. So I'll go and fuck the hole in my wall. I go to the mall and I see girls there, but all I do is I laugh and stare. So I guess I'll go home and fuck my wali aliyah. I can't get any girls at Aliyah. Flip the lid on the Vaseline. Scoop it, goop it, meat machine. Fill it full of a creamy cream. All night, la 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 la, all night long.
The phone cuts off Shadow with its unexpected rings, unnerving Robert in the process. He heads to the other side of the hovel to take the call, in private. Intercut phone conversation.
Hey there, Snagglepuss.
Oh, hey, Sid. Hi.
I'm going to head over in a few.
4?
So we can walk over to the Jovial Halloween Ball tonight.
Yes. Yes, of course.
Shadow eyes Robert with confusion as he sips his coffee. Robert looks back at Shadow on the couch and gestures that he will be a minute or two.
I'll have your costume ready. I'll bring it with me.
Don't.
Don't?
Don't trouble yourself. I'll come to you.
Robert nervously hangs up the phone and spins around to Shadow's eyeballing.
Who was that?
A Phantomas, my art broker. He sells our paintings.
Shadow picks up the reminder about the Jovial Ball that came in the mail the day before.
Isn't the Jovial Halloween Ball tonight?
It is, but, well, I decided not to go when you had your accident because we always go together.
So let's go. Reschedule with Phantomas. You can put me in the picnic basket. We will have the best costume and win Teenager of the Year.
Maybe.
I promise I won't snack on anyone there. Maybe they will even let me get on a stage and sing my song. Did you like it? My song?
It's a great song. And when I see Phantomas, I can let him know about it. In fact, I have to meet with him right now. So no Jovial Ball, actually. Looking at the clock again, and I'm afraid I'm running late. But he knows music people. We can get you a contract. It's going to be great.
Oh, boy. That'd be something else. Okay, go see your man about a rabbit. Yuck, yuck.
Keep practicing. And I'll be back later tonight. And no more eating people.
I'm going to try and write some more. Maybe I can gather enough material for a whole record.
Wouldn't that be something?
Interior Sydney house. Night. The door opens. Robert stands in the threshold with some droopy flowers. Flamenco music plays over yonder, somewhere.
Did you pick those from Papa Gumbo's garden down the street?
I did.
They're lovely.
Exterior Graveyard Hill Road. Night. 2-shot. Robert and Sydney enter frame from behind camera walking hand in hand. Sydney and Robert stroll down to Uncle Moo's Butter Pumpkin Burger off Graveyard Hill Road. Fade to exterior Uncle Moo's Pumpkin Butter Burger Barn. Night. Miniature. In any other place, You might mistake Uncle Moo's for a Burger King fused with a Cracker Barrel general store full of kitsch. Tonight, it has been done up special for the Jovial Halloween Ball. Bales of hay, scarecrows, the works. On top of the neon Uncle Moo with lights and fixings is a giant orange and black old-timey looking pumpkin with a playfully sinister glowing smiley face. Fade to interior Uncle Moo's Pumpkin Butter Burger Barn. Night. All of the chairs and tables have been replaced with festive Halloween decorations. Sydney and Robert have arrived in costume. They are greeted at the door. James Farrows, from Romeo's Distress, a little bit of trivia there, wearing a goofy frog costume, hands out small gift baskets. He clearly doesn't want to be there.
Happy Halloween. Welcome to Uncle Moo's Pumpkin Butter Burger Barn, home of the greasy Gouda cheesy jalapeno burger with frog leg French fries value meal. Please enjoy these gift baskets from franchise owner Sylvester Dijon Corning, featuring toiletry samples from the new line of Uncle Moo's cheddar shampoo, ranch conditioner, and bacon body wash. Also enclosed is the limited edition Uncle Moo stationery set. Please use it to fill out the submission form to be considered for the Teenagers of the Year and crowned the king and queen of the Jovial Halloween Ball.
Montage. The place is packed with activity. A stage has been erected where a band called Dickie Cable and his Fat Sammies play. They look like they might be wearing costumes, but they are not. In fact, they are not human, nor of this world. The instruments they play are of bizarre and otherworldly technology, producing a new wavy song.
Goo! Goo on you! I got goo! Goo on you! I don't know what to do, so I'll stick to goo! Goo on you! Try to cry! It's no use! When goo comes out, it goes on you! Goo! Goo on you!
A packed dance floor squirms in enjoyment to the strange music, just like the Monster Club with Vincent Price. A long buffet table carries all sorts of cakes, candies, cookies, pies, puddings, jello, green French fries, and plates of burgers and hot dogs. Costumed patrons line the table, gobbling the food. Various traditional and not so traditional parlor games are played. The pumpkin jello eating contest commences, with contestants shoving as much jello down their gullets as they can guzzle. A table of mobster-looking guys play poker in a corner. In the center of the table, a private dancer dances for money. Angus, Grunk, and Grink perch in a corner as they brood and hold court, drinking pumpkin punch. DJ Sweetle pops up on the stage and calls to action with one of those 50s-style microphones.
What a crowd! What a crowd!
Enormous applause.
Thank you all for coming out and choosing to spend your autumnal equinox at this jovial celebration at one of our town's most hallowed institutions. But I gotta say, I am feeling a little uncomfortable.
DJ Sweetle rubs his tummy and wiggles his tushy.
Let me tell you what, my butler served me some baked beans for lunch, and I've turned into a walking whoopee cushion. Whoa, here it comes again.
Sweetle rips ass into the mic and is met with enormous laughter.
But seriously, folks, seriously, I gotta tell you, I went to the butter factory and sold a couple of sticks. God damn it. Did it have to go on for that long? All right. But seriously, folks, seriously, I gotta tell you, I went to the butter factory to salt a couple of sticks I left in the freezer and ran into my wife there. Next thing you know, I'm in court suing the Blaze for false advertising.
Sweetle pauses, The confused crowd whispers in confusion, trying to make sense of it all.
And you might be wondering, Sweetle, why'd you do that? The judge sure did. Judge Alric Owens III was just as puzzled. I mean, this just ruffled his feathers everywhere. And he says to me, what's false about the advertising? So I tells the judge, well, I went to the factory and still managed to bump into my wife. The sign says Butter Factory. Everyone but her. And the judge says, who?
Sweetle turns around again and pushes Tush out from the stage and rips more serious ass right into the mic. The laughter from the crowd is deafening.
Please arrest me before I kill someone. Seriously now. Okay. Calm down. Seriously now. Seriously. I am excited to tell you that we have some royalty holding court here at Uncle Moo's Pumpkin Butter Burger Barn. Over yonder is Elmo Street Meat.
Applause.
Under yonder is our favorite Yiddish butterweight boxing champion, Sammy the Kirkuk Saba.
Applause.
And in the middle of the fiddle, right over there, is world-famous condiment detective lawyer, and a pretty great fry cook, I might add, Lon Pickleman himself, famous for solving the case of President Sapplestein's missing relish at the hands of arch-criminal and condiment deviant Mustard McNasty.
Applause.
Hold it, folks. Hold it. Just a little more, folks. Before we continue with our festivities, I need you all to drum up one more round of rousing applause for the host of this special evening. The host of this establishment, the provider of all those Gouda cheesy jalapeno burgers I see you all scarfing down your gullets, washed down with tasty chocolate soda lattes. He's well read, and many will tell you that he has more culture than yogurt, more greasy charm that slides burger-like oh so easily down your throat. May I present Sylvester Dijon Corning!
The crowd responds with the biggest applause of them all.
Oh, yeah.
Sylvester Dijon Corning steps onto the stage and waves a silken hanky to the crowd. Sweetle hands over the microphone.
Thank you. Enjoy the food, the fun, and the farts. If you would one more time, Mr. Sweetle.
Sweetle grabs the mic and cuts stinky cheese to roars of laughter. Sylvester grabs the mic back.
Oh, baby. We should bottle that up and sling it in the gift shop. Yeah.
Even more laughter.
And don't forget to vote for me in the upcoming elections against Duckland P. Cheeseworthy. We don't fuck ducks, we eat them.
Try
the duck burger.
The duck burger.
More laughs. More applause. Sweetle takes the mic back.
Okay. Let's open it up and stir this gumbo. Our band traveled a long way to be here tonight, and they are powering through their unconscionable jet lag to play for you all. Dickie Cable and his band, the Fat Sammies. Let her rip, Dickie!
Sweetle lets out one last fart. The music is hot, and the dance floor parts like the Red Sea as various costumed guests take turns showing off their stuff in the center of a newly formed dance circle. Robert and Sydney enjoy the fancy footwork from the sidelines until it's their turn to bust moves. Their chemistry translates well to the dance floor, and they effortlessly win over the crowd. Angus seethes with fury as he watches Robert dance with Sidney. He crushes his cup, spilling punch everywhere, and cuts into Robert's dancing.
By Toulon's toupee, I think we have ourselves an old-fashioned dance fight cooking.
The music fades, and a hush falls over the crowd watching. Angus whips his finger around in the air, motioning to Dickie Cable and his band. The Fat Sammies serve up a tasty groove as Angus and Robert have a rematch via dance karate. The match is brutal. There are karate blocks, punches, and kicks, all issued by way of the universal art of the dance. Robert sees an opening and chops Angus right in the chest, causing him to fall back. Grunk and Grink catch the stunned Angus before he hits the floor. They all fall back into one of the buffet tables.
Chicken dinner! We got a winner!
DJ Sweetle turns to Sylvester Dijon Corning for comment.
What do you think, Sylvester?
In all of my many years of putting on this Jovial Halloween Ball, I have never seen such a display of keen, focused dancing finesse over one's enemy. Come on here, son. Your name?
Robert?
And your date?
Sidney Kidney?
Sidney runs up to join Robert at his side. Sylvester and DJ Sweetle privately confer with hushed whisper in agreement of the obvious.
People, may I have your attention for a moment as DJ Sweetle and I announce the obvious. We have found our teenagers of the year and will crown Robert and Sidney Kidney as king and queen of the Jovial Halloween Ball.
Enormous applause rings out. 2 shiny crowns featuring various pumpkin jewels and iconography are placed on Robert and Sidney's heads.
As teenagers of the year, you two have won an all-expense paid to paradise, where you will travel to the breezy island of Enchanta, where you will walk with crustaceans along the Javelina beaches, swim in the warm waters of the Blueberry Lagoon, and listen to the soothing songs of the friendly shakabats in the blue banana trees. Those bananas are delicious, and their sweet flesh tastes just like vanilla ice cream. It's no wonder that the bats like it up there in those trees. Heck, if I wasn't running for mayor, I'd probably sing bananas too.
The crowd is mildly amused.
To consummate your place as our king and queen, it is time for the sweet custard solo shuffle. Maestro?
Fade to interior Robert's hovel. Night. Shadow sings to himself.
Sitting here, sitting here all alone, sitting here crying on the phone. Come and find me, let us talk, let's be nice, let's go out and share a pizza slice.
Phantomos enters.
Robert, darling, I've let myself in with the spare key. How was the Jovial Halloween Ball? I've got great news about Randy Candy.
Phantomos frightfully discovers Shadow on the couch in the living room, noodling on the ukulele.
Yee! Oh, Robert, what has happened?
Clearly, I'm not Robert, but you must be Phantomos.
Frosted finger grease, Shadow. How did you learn to talk?
I can do way more than talk. With this velvety voice, I can singer. But I suppose Robert never told you that, because he ditched me to roll Stag on the ball.
Oh, dear sweetheart. He's not Stag. He took Sidney Kidney to that ball. I came here looking for him because I thought he came back already. They must be having a good time.
Why would he do that? He takes me to the ball every year. I bet he was lying about that tasty record deal, too.
A record deal? Oh, Shadow baby, you can't be a singer.
Why not?
You are right, that voice has more velvet than cake, but, well, I was never one for mincing pies. But, darling, look at you. You could melt a block of aged cheddar with that face. It could never go on a record cover.
Shadow starts to cry.
Oh, baby, if it's any condolence, that market is hot right now for portraits with your look. We are going to make some serious cha-cha with that mug on a canvas. I can see it now. Limited edition, print series, and gallery showcases. I'm going to buy so many couches and fuck on all of them.
do you have a tissue?
Of course, my dear, of course.
Out of his sleeve comes one of Phantomos's delicate and silky hankies. He leans in to place it in Shadow's extended clawed hand, but Shadow leans in as well and pulls Phantomos into the feeding zone and makes quick work of the spicy art dealer that used to be called Phantomos and now known as Shadow's dinner. Burp. Fade to Shadow stands up for the first time on wobbly legs and tries to dance while playing the ukulele.
Help. Help me, help me, help me. Da-na-na-na. Don't wanna fall in the mud. All I wanna do is sell my blood. My brain is fried, my brain is mean. My brain is trapped in a bubblegum machine. Oh, help me get it out and I'ma scrub it clean. Because my brain is trapped in a bubblegum machine. Try, cry and cry. Try and try to scrub it clean. Scrub clean. Maybe I should just pull the plug on this moldy bathtub.
Cut to interior Uncle Moo's pumpkin butter burger barn night. Robert and Sydney finish their dance as king and queen, bowing before each other and embracing in a kiss that leaves Sylvester and Sweetle shedding tears of emotion. The crowd loves it.
I could sure go for some fresh air. Want to get out of here?
Fresh air would be nice.
Exterior Graveyard Hill Road night. Robert and Sydney stroll down the empty, moonlit street.
You know, we should start packing for our trip to the island of Enchanto. Let's go back to your place for a suitcase or two.
Robert goes from excited to deflated as he comes down from Cloud 9 and remembers the mess that is waiting for him at home. He changes their direction.
Termites ate all of my suitcases. Let's go to your house first. It's closer.
I have fantastic suitcases. I made them myself.
Robert and Sydney walk off. Cut to from around a corner and out of the shadows comes the freshly defeated Angus, Grunk, Grink, and their bruised egos.
What do you say we make a house call, boys?
Grunk and Grink snicker. Angus snaps his fingers.
Duck formation.
They walk off in a flying V duck formation.
Quack.
Quack, 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 quack.
Quack, 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 quack.
Interior Sydney house. Late night. Sydney and Robert pack all sorts of hilarious essentials that you would never take on a vacation trip such as this.
Robert, can you pack my accordion? It's in the powder room.
Robert goes to look for it.
The red one, the yellow one, the blue one, or the pink one?
Salmon.
I don't see any fish in here.
No, silly goat, it's not pink. It's salmon. But I think I'll take the blue one.
Fade to exterior Robert's hovel. Late night. Angus, Grunk, and Grink post up near Robert's lawn, behind a retaining wall. In the shadows, they plan their intended revenge.
Okay, I'll ring the doorbell, and when it comes to the door, Grunk will kick it in, and Grink will sack him hard. Then we will slather him up with that pork fat you guys stole from my round back at Uncle Moo's and grease him up nice and gooey. After that, I'll take the felt-tipped pink snout from my costume and we will cover it with badger glue and stick it on his nose. Then we'll call the cops and watch him squeal with embarrassment as the coppers try to catch him. And we'll film the whole thing. And then we'll make DVDs of it. And then we'll distribute it to all of our town peers.
Grunk and Grink both snicker in excited agreement. Grink takes out the camera. Angus rings the bell.
Grunk, the door.
The door is slightly ajar. Inside Robert's hovel is pitch black. Grunk gulps with nervous hesitation. Angus pushes him forward.
Don't you go starting laying eggs on me now. Get your tush in there. We'll be right here behind you. Grink, start recording.
Grink turns on the camera. Switch to camera POV. Interior Robert's hovel, late night. Doorway threshold shot, creating blackened silhouetted figures in the doorframe, contrasted against unmotivated streetlight. Angus's pressure outweighs Grunk's fear by a nut hair, and he soldiers on through the threshold and into the darkness. Angus follows, followed by Grink holding the camera. He switches on the LED light. A low, nasty growling emanates from somewhere in the dark.
Grink, cut the camera.
Camera POV cuts to black. Another growl decays into nothingness. Angus, Grunk, and Grink shudder in the thick, sightless patch of the space. The singing that follows cuts through the silence like a knife.
I can't get any girls at Aliyah. So I'll go home and fuck the hole in my wall.
Angus, Grunk, and Grink burst into laughter at this disarming and unexpected song in the darkness.
I go to the mall and I see girls there, but all they do is they laugh and stare.
Turn on the camera. Do it.
Grink turns the camera back on and shines the light as they look for the singing source of the song. Switch to camera POV. The boys keep laughing as they make their way into the living room, covered in shreds of Fantomas and his fancy clothing. The light hits Shadow on the couch as he sings. Shadow's eyes reflect in the dark, just like a cat, rows of razor-sharp teeth, slathered in enzyme-laden, mucousy saliva, move joyfully up and down as he sings for his supper.
So I'll go home and fuck my Wally Aliyah. I can't get any girls at Aliyah.
Why are you guys laughing at me? Don't you like my singing?
Shadow's form has evolved again. He has much more motor function in his new legs to go with his arms. He stands up.
Looks like I won't need to order in anymore. Looking for a kiss?
Angus, Grunk, and Grink shriek in terror. Shadow goes for Grunk and tears into his throat like tissue paper. He slurps at the blood, and Grunk's lifeless body drops to the floor. Shadow kind of breaks the fourth wall with Bugs Bunny delight by turning towards the light and the camera in Grink's hands.
Creamy. Tastes just like a milkshake.
Angus cuts between Shadow and Grink's camera and takes the spotlight with it. But Shadow is not far behind and has his way with Angus.
Chewy, chewy, bubble gum. How you doing, my chewy chum?
Grink trips and struggles with the camera like it's a wayward football as they both hit the floor, with Grink the star in the frame and just as quickly pulled out of it to a grisly and digestible fate of unspeakable terror. Shadow's dining is accompanied by blood-curdling screams of howling pain and followed by wet chewing, smacking lips. Cut to interior Sydney house. Late night. Robert struggles to close Sydney's luggage.
Careful now. My whole life is in that suitcase.
Maybe we should never come back?
And leave Shadow behind? He'd never forgive you.
You have no idea.
We have to stop by your hovel to pick him up.
Do we?
A car honks from outside.
Our chariot has arrived.
Fade to exterior, Robert's hovel, late night. A cab pulls up to the curb. Robert gets out but stops Sydney from doing the same.
Better sit this one out, Sydney Kidney.
But I want to see where you live.
I know, but I've been away all evening and have a feeling Shadow might be a little grumpy. Best to let me check out the weather that awaits inside.
I'll miss you.
If I'm not back soon, take this cab to Little Nicky's Southern Fried Pizza Parlor, order a short rib, mashed potato, sharp cheddar pie, and forget about me.
Sydney is a bit confused. She is not sure if he is serious. He gives her a kiss and heads inside his hovel. Interior, Robert's hovel, late night. Robert turns on the lights to find Shadow's carnage. He cautiously opens the closet and once again pulls out the axe. Shadow hums to himself from the living room.
Robert, is that you? Come on in here. I've redecorated a bit. I hope you don't mind. Leave the axe.
Robert leans the axe against a wall with great hesitance.
Fuck.
Sitting on the couch in the living room, amongst the carnage, Shadow noodles on his ukulele. Robert walks in.
Daddy's got a mistress on the eve of Christmas, and it's tearing the family apart. Damn. Daddy's got a mistress on the eve of Christmas, and it's tearing the family apart. She's gonna take Daddy's North Pole inside her hole and stop. Fuck. And we can't stop it from falling apart. Why, Daddy, why? Why do you want to watch us cry? Why, Daddy, why? All I could ask is, why don't you want to watch this all fall apart? Fuck my life, whatever.
Shadow stops playing and smiles wide, revealing his disgusting teeth nestled within black, oily lips.
What do you think of that one?
Really neat.
Shadow rolls his good eye.
How was your meeting with Phantomas?
Robert notices Phantomas' silk hanky, slick with dark blood, the kind that comes from internal organs.
From the looks of it, you also took a meeting with his couchness.
Meeting or eating? Phantomas thought I sang pretty good, but your words were echoed with a more brutal breed of honesty. And even though I ate him, I couldn't fault him for telling me the truth. In fact, I commend him. Better than your bullshit.
Then why did you have to go and eat him?
Did you see me before?
I thought we were in agreement on this.
I couldn't even get off the couch, let alone hop around on one leg. Look at me now. It all makes sense. The more I take in, the more I consume, the more I learn, the more I grow, and the better I get at singing.
You're already good at singing.
But you don't think I could be a singer.
When did I ever say that?
You said it. In a matter of words, you did. You're a fucking liar, Robert. You know that? You lie to me, you lie to yourself. If I became a singer and took off on a tour, who'd you paint? You need to keep me down in order to push you up. You are threatened by my future success. Well, guess what? I quit, and I'm going to start my own band.
Come on, Shadow. Where on earth's taint are you going to dig up a band?
Who said anything about digging? I'll just grow one. Yeah.
Shadow grabs a beaker from Dr. Dollar's home cloning kit and yanks off his pinky claw. Frothy blood pours down into the glass.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll just clone myself a band, and then I'm gonna take this act on the road. It's a big buffet out there with groupies a la carte.
This is madness.
It's your madness. Look at me, man. I didn't ask for any of this, you selfish piece of shit. And you go running off with Sidney Kidney, bibbity bobbity at the Jovial Halloween Ball? You left me hanging, monkey without a tree.
That was pretty selfish.
You are driven by pure impulse to the point where you can't sit still with your thoughts, your feelings, and the actions you've taken. It's just off to the next thing. All you ever do is what you want. And now, when I tell you what I want, it's madness? What else can I do? I've never had to compete for your attention before. It's always just been you and me, painting pictures.
I know. And for what it's worth, I'm sorry for all of this.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
This was a mistake.
You need to let things go how they need to go. Sydney was just around the corner.
We'd be off right now, enjoying the tender vanilla ice cream flesh of those tropical blue bananas.
A slight, strained silence follows.
You should just say it.
Say what?
You're terrified of death.
Say what?
That's why you brought me back. That's why you ditched me to take Sydney to the ball.
Not true.
You avoid death.
Sorry, you're really reaching here.
Why'd you put all of us through this then?
Robert deflates and presses his lips together in a thin white line. He can't say the words, so talks around them.
The head understands.
But the heart doesn't.
I couldn't accept that it had come for you. So unexpected, and that you had to go through it alone. How scary that must have been. Seeing you like that was a terrifying reflection of an inevitability that I will never escape from. What if there is nothing after? What if it's just endless darkness?
I don't think I remember.
Why do I even have to ask these things? Why can't I just be happy?
I don't think it's you asking these things. It's just your ego choking on its own self-centered fear to push on. You have to drown out its voice.
How? How do I do that?
Painting. Or if you're a singer, then singing. Or if you're a writer, then writing.
Do you think maybe we can just try to go back to the way things were? You know, before all of this?
I would have liked that. But after careful consideration, I'm going to have to eat you, I'm afraid.
Oh.
It's just, I'll need the protein to grow the band. I'm sorry.
Robert itemizes with his fingers.
Guitar, bass, drums.
And sax. You gotta have the sax.
Oh, sax. Yeah, that's good.
I figured they could switch between sax and keys.
Whatever the song calls for.
Exactly.
A sax will tie the whole sound together.
You think so?
I really do. Yeah.
Another small, sad silence commences as both parties ponder what is to come next. Neither of them are quite ready for it, as they might imagine.
Don't worry. I'm gonna be all right here when it happens.
It means a lot. Thank you.
quick and purely utilitarian.
Robert braces himself for the end.
Okay. I'm ready, I guess. Do your thing.
Shadow's slimy black lips quiver.
Maybe you could paint me one more time before you go?
Robert relaxes a bit with relief.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I could use it for my first album cover. Sort of a symbolic of this transition. And after I digest you, it will be a lasting memory of our final collaboration.
Robert is excited at the prospect of one more painting and sets up a canvas and some paints.
Could you make some of your famously bitter yet strong coffee?
That's a great idea.
Smash cut transition. Evil Dead style montage of coffee being brewed, as well as the setup of the canvas, easel, and paints being set up. 2 cups of coffee are poured and paints are mixed together.
You know, the more I think about it, you eating me will kind of like be me joining the band, but like forever.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess so.
Maybe this won't be so bad.
Cut to exterior Robert's hovel, late night. Sydney still sits in the idling taxi. She shares a pizza pie with the driver and chews nervously as she stares out the passenger window at the only illumination coming from the hovel in the living room. She checks her watch and keeps working on her slice of pizza. Cut to interior Robert's hovel, late night. Robert and Shadow are enjoying their cup of bitter black as Robert adds various details to the canvas.
Well, you know, I've been getting quite the education in human anatomy.
Sort of a culinary biology class?
It's a real trip. Like, did you know there are all these teeny weeny little bones in the ear? They get caught in my teeth and I keep pulling them out. I went as far to use your web browser to potentially identify them and their ear bones. I would have never imagined, especially because the ear is so chewy.
You like them?
Yeah, they're okay. I like the crunchy texture, but the taste is nothing to write home about.
What do people taste like?
In my experience, I find that to be super subjective. No 2 people seem to taste the same.
I wonder if personality affects flavor profile.
Take Phantomas, for instance. He had a smooth and creamy lavender taste with a nutty finish.
That sounds like Phantomas, all right. Huh. Wonder how I will taste. I suppose you could tell me while it's happening.
How horrid! Oh, Robert, that's absolutely ghastly. Would you really want to know?
Yeah, I mean, why not? You only get eaten once, am I right? I bet I taste like coffee.
You drink way too much of it, that's for sure.
They both laugh. Robert reluctantly takes his last textured strokes on what will be his final work.
Well, you'll find out soon enough. I've finished.
Robert turns the easel around to reveal his masterwork to Shadow, who is overwhelmed by the obvious beauty of Robert's craft. His good eye darts around from one end of the canvas to the other as his mind tries to comprehend it all. Tears well up in the eyeball, blood vessels swell. Robert is just as sad as he prepares himself for the hungry end. He puts his jacket on and straightens out his tie. With a clearing of his throat, he is ready.
Let's do this thing. The lingering is excruciating.
I can't yet. You call this done? This isn't done. In fact, maybe you should put another pot on the stove and start over.
You You can't be serious.
I'm serious as a heart attack.
No, enough. It's time, and I'm ready. Just do it.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, damn it. Do it, or so help me, Harry, I will jump down your throat like a jelly bean.
I won't accept such mediocre work.
Mediocre? Mediocre. That's the best damn thing I have ever made. I'm satisfied. Let's get the show on the road. Eat me, damn it.
No, damn you. Put on another part and start over.
Such stage fright. You'll never make it as a singer.
You scribble like a man-child. You're a hack with overvalued work. Just looking at it makes me want to diarrhea the toilet.
Great. So eat me and then spray me all over the bowl like a Jackson Pollock.
Oh, I'm going to. I will. I just drank too much coffee, and I have sort of completely lost my appetite. So you just give me a second.
Maybe, just maybe, you need a little appetizer. Here you go.
Robert picks up his flat, dull paint spreader and uses it to cut off his ear.
Cheese and rice, Robert. That's grisly. Stop it.
Come on, man.
Stop it.
I'm ready for it. Here you go. I made sure it's boneless. You can chew it like bubble gum.
No.
Yes.
Cut to Sydney stands in a doorway, wielding the axe that Robert abandoned.
No!
Robert is sad to see the axe.
No.
Shadow is happy to see the axe.
Yes.
Cut to Sydney brings the axe down hard on Shadow's spine. It makes a terrifying cracking sound, like when thunder splits a tree right down the middle. Robert collapses to his friend's side. Sydney drops the axe and leans back against the wall, both relieved and horrified at what she has done.
Here, eat this. The ear, eat it. Maybe it'll heal you.
I told you I've lost my appetite.
Robert sulks. Sydney wants to comfort him, but is conflicted about how to proceed, considering her very recent actions.
Are you in pain?
I'm very comfortable, actually. I think I feel kind of great.
Shadow attempts a chuckle, but it hurts too much.
Kevin?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Shadow.
You have nothing to be sorry about. In fact, thank you.
For what?
Just thank you.
That stuff I said back there, I said it out of anger. You'd be a great singer. I can admit it.
I know, and I don't really think you're a hack. It was just the heat of the moment. That was like your best painting ever.
Really?
Shadow uses some of his last strength to curl his slimy, black lips into a smile. From behind his lips come the faint zigzag of his razor-sharp can-opener grin.
I'm really glad I didn't eat you.
Me too. And again, I'm sorry for all of this, for bringing you back. Deep down, I just didn't want you to be alone. Maybe I just didn't want to be alone either.
We're all alone. We just don't know it until the end.
Don't say that. Don't look at it that way.
Yes, Robert. Take a good hard look. Don't turn away. Acknowledge this. Accept it as you can understand it, and then go back to your life. To your sweet vanilla banana flesh. And paint. Keep painting until you are too tired to lift up that brush to the canvas.
I will.
For both of us.
Perhaps we're all alone here. Because we're all together over there.
What a nice thought. I'll know soon enough. Guaranteed.
Robert cries. Sydney cries. Shadow cries.
Robert, you're sad now, and that's okay. But feelings are like the weather. They don't last forever. You want to hear my new song? I just wrote it when you were crying. Stupid Cupid, why did you shoot me with your bow and arrow? Stupid Cupid, why did you shoot me with your bow and arrow? Because love is poison, it's coursing through my veins. Love is poison, it's driving me insane.
That's going to be a top 10 hit.
You promise?
I piggy promise.
Satisfied with this answer, Shadow falls into a deep, peaceful sleep from which he will never wake from.
Is he gone?
He's gone. Hopefully dreaming forever.
Surfing the wave.
Is the taxi still idling?
Yes.
Then let's go on that trip.
We can clean all this up when we get back.
Robert puts the tattered blanket over his friend, and they turn to leave. Until they don't, because Robert freezes in his tracks.
Wait a minute. I need to get something.
Robert looks around the living room until he comes upon the tape cassette that Dr. Dollar gave to him. Fade to exterior, the Blueberry Lagoon, Isla de Encanta, midday. Sydney and Robert rest easy in their little camp by the Crystal Beach, under the cheery, gentle sun in the Blueberry Lagoon. Robert drinks an iced coffee and eats bananas. Sydney gets up and gathers her pail and shovel.
I think I'm going to build a little sandcastle for that small family of crustaceans we were walking with earlier. Do you want to join me?
Robert puts his headphones on.
In a bit, I wanted to finish my ice cream banana.
Enjoy. I'll be waiting for you by the coconut grove.
She gives him a peck on the cheek and takes off to begin construction for the Crab family. Robert hits the play button on his Running Man media machine. Dr. Dollar's voice fills his ears as he looks over the crystal clear water.
And none of them are really gone. No. Like computers, an electricity runs through, but we are not, in fact, computers. That force that flows through us is energy that cannot be created nor destroyed. It's harnessed for a time and then let free somewhere else. And so I want to believe the same holds true for us, for our creativity, for our soul.
Sydney builds her castle. That gorgeous, foamy, warm ocean water creeps up the beach, wrapping itself around the smooth stones and pebbles along the coastline.
Perhaps this is ultimately where all of our consciousness comes from, and where it returns to in the end.
Cut 2. Interior, Robert's hovel, night. Robert nurses a piping hot cup of the bitter black as he paints a portrait of himself and Sydney at the Blueberry Lagoon of the scene we just cut from. Sydney comes over to admire the work before plopping down on the couch to work on her new dress design.
It's the same place where all our songs, our sculptures, our paintings, our poems, our films, and our writings come from. And every time you choose to create instead of destroy, you are visiting, you are communing, you are conversing, you are honoring someone you knew, someone you cared for, someone you respected, someone you loved.
On the side table, next to Robert as he paints, is the radio. Various ephemera lies about, including the new Dickie Cable and the Fat Sammy's 7-inch single. On the cover is the same painting that Robert made of Shadow, his greatest work. Over the radio, we hear a familiar voice.
Meow! You are still listening to Wart Radio, home of the slug himself, me, DJ Sweeto. Woo! Up next is a scorcher that won't stop flying up the charts. You remember Dickie Cable and the Fat Sammys with their stinger of a hit, Peppermint Eggplant, as well as Goo on You from the recent Jovial Halloween Ball? And well, even though they are out of this world, they are here to rock it with their latest and greatest single called You're So Stupid, Cupid by the mysterious singer Shadow. Take it away, Dickie.
You're So Stupid, Cupid plays on the radio. The end.
Wow. Oh my goodness. A big round of applause for my actors. Let them all take a bow. Excuse me, I have like the worst phlegm in my throat ever because I'm like sick. It's a good thing I would. This is probably the longest I've gone without talking on my channel ever. Let's start off. Hold on. Let's go through everybody. We'll start with Tim Deary. Take a bow, sir. And tell us about what's happening in Dobbs Ferry very soon.
Yes, next Saturday, a week from today, at 8 o'clock at Dobbs Ferry Public Library, me and 5 other comics will be performing a free stand-up comedy showcase, and there will be free beer. So it's sponsored by Captain Lawrence Brewing in Elmsford. It's probably the best brewery in Westchester. So we got free beer, free comedy. It's going to be awesome. So come through 8 p.m. and I'll put the link in the chat maybe so people can
also link in the description for everybody's links for their stuff is down in the description below. Okay. Kevin Moe, take a bow for you. Yes. Kevin makes incredible Halloween masks. Check out the website down in the link. Kevin, if you have anything else you want to plug on the broadcast.
I don't have anything specifically to plug, but if anyone goes to see the band Mastodon on the tour that they're on right now, you'll see the great big monster that I worked on with Silver Scream Effects Lab. We did a sort of a mascot, I guess you'd call it, kind of the way Iron Maiden has Eddie. We made something for Mastodon. So if you like heavy metal and want to go see the big monster I worked on.
Really cool. Really cool. Nate Dogg, take a bow. Excellent work, Nate Dogg. Nate Dogg, you got anything you want to shout out or plug?
No, but I am accusing you of adding in those fart noises at the last second as a scheme to make me break character.
Thank you, Nate Dogg. Up next, we have Tim Tromer. Tim, take a bow. Tim, what are you working on as of right now? Anything that anybody should be aware of on their radar?
Maybe in like a year. No, we're finishing up a feature script, which will be a weird, gory musical thing. Beautiful. So that'll be fun. And we're actually I'm making another short film soon that we just started building a set for today. So I'm excited to make something weird again. But yeah, like next year, like in a bit, there'll be something to talk about. But
the greatest crime is that Tim lives in Chicago and is not here. A real quick, I want to shout out my little son who is in the chat, Jordan, my main man, who definitely lied to me and definitely took a sip of my Diet Coke when we ate Burger King for dinner. Is the only reason why he could still possibly awake when I gave him a phone and told him that he could fall asleep while watching the broadcast tonight. Jordan is my editor. And I just want him to know that I love him very much and that I see him and I think he is the greatest kid in the world. Next up, we have Bob Rose. Bob Rose, please take a bow. Thank you, Bob.
I'm trying not to hit the microphone.
Bob has incredible podcast called the Writer's Blockbuster Podcast, and all things Bob Rose are down in the link tree below. Bob, is there anything that you want to highlight?
I mean, I would have said the podcast. It's not just me. It's me with two guys who actually know what they're talking about. Like Jamie Nash has written 2 Save the Cat books, so there's some credibility on there. That's not just me and my idiocy. So listen to that. And if you want to ever see my short films, go to my YouTube page. I don't know. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Bob. My son confirms that is true. He did drink my Diet Coke. Jordan, this is why you're not allowed to have caffeine. Straight up. And last but not least, Nathan D. Ludwig, the CEO, mastermind behind Genre Blast. All things. I mean, Genre Blast is not just a film festival.
It's an umbrella.
It's an umbrella. It's a freaking Genre Blast umbrella, man.
It's a media conglomerate, like the villain from Tomorrow Never Dies.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, Genre Blast Film Festival, Genre Blast Books, Genre Blast, film production company. So, So we got our film festival coming up this Labor Day weekend in Winchester, Virginia at the Alamo Draft House. Nice. Winchester, it's a weekend, full weekend, Thursday through Sunday of genre films, all the good stuff, action, horror, sci-fi, fantasy. This is our 8th year. So, I mean, I know Tim and Bob and Jeff are very familiar with Genre Blast. So
it's great.
Or we'll see them again soon. So, yeah. So Genre Blast is awesome. We're taking submissions for films and scripts on Film Freeway. And check out, I've got some horror books I've written on Amazon. Just look up my name on Amazon. I've got a couple books up there too. So that's it.
Now, I want to say the inspiration to do this actually came from being at Genre Blast last year when we were doing a table reading, and I had so much fun doing a table reading. It made me realize that just because we write stuff doesn't mean, if we can't make it into a film due to resources immediately when we want to, we can still do something halfway in between, which is what this is. It's an audio radio styled play version that we somehow miraculously were able to get through without not one person broke down. There's some, various little issues and things, but the fact that we got through, 7 people living in different states were able to successfully navigate this. I'm grateful. And so again, a big round of applause for you guys who brought it all together, who made it happen. Yeah, the snappings, actually, that's a better way to go about it. This broadcast will be left up for 24 hours, and then there'll be an encore rebroadcast of the same stream a week later, again for 24 hours, and then it will be only available on Patreon and for YouTube members. Stay tuned. Eventually, this will be a feature-length film. I am determined to bring this to life because I just feel like I gotta. And when I gotta. So I'm not going to keep anybody any longer. Guys, thank you so much for joining us out there. I can't believe 8 people are watching this currently after all that time. Peace, at least by my little counter. Maybe that's like a composite of YouTube and Facebook and whatever. In any case, peace, hair grease, all the rest. We'll see you, I don't know, probably tomorrow night with another stream because that's just what we do here.